All right, so I just got back from watching A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. Great title. The latest romantic film in theaters. The first true romance first movie, I think, since Materialists came out this summer. But kind of like Materialists, this isn't necessarily a rom-com, even though there are definitely some comedic elements to this movie for sure. It is more of a romantic dramedy, or a rom-dram, as some people say, a romantic drama. But this one is different than Materialists because this one's got fantasy elements added to it, which I was really excited about, especially watching the trailer for this movie, because one of my favorite romantic movies of all time is About Time, which also has some sort of fantasy, kind of sci-fi, but more fantasy elements in it. So the fantastical element of this romantic story is there is a magical GPS, believe it or not, that directs our two main characters, David and Sarah, on a big, bold, beautiful journey, and they enter through these doors that lead to significant places and events in their lives, and they learn more about each other and about themselves, about themselves, and just, the nature of love and life, and as hence the title, Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. So I will say what this movie does really well is I do think it looks very beautiful. The cinematographer and the editor, I don't know, like the colorists or whatever, I don't know, they really do a good job of making the colors pop and making things on the screen look interesting. The fantastical elements almost felt very Dr. Seuss-like sometimes, which was very unique and I appreciated. So that was good. There are also some pretty interesting conversations, not unlike the conversations that happened in Materialists, that I found quite interesting when they're talking about the nature of falling in love and why certain people end up together, why certain people don't end up together, and all that stuff. I thought all that was pretty interesting. Unfortunately, that's kind of where it stops. I didn't love this movie. It's not awful, and I do think it will have its fans, but it didn't really work for me. And the biggest reason it didn't is because I did not feel the chemistry between the two leads, which is shocking because the two leads are played by Colin Farrell and Margaret Robbie, two fantastic actors. And it just wasn't there for me. And I know, I could tell because in Materialists, when a character says, "I love you" to another character, I felt it. And that's how in any romantic movie, if they say, "I love you," and I'm like, yes, I can feel it. I can feel the romance. I feel he means it or she means it. And that's how I know this movie works for me. Because for a romance, that's kind of all you need. There could be nitpicks and, oh, this doesn't make a lot of sense, or this is cheesy and stuff. But if the romance works, all is forgiven, at least for me. And I do have a lot of nitpicks for this movie, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. For example, when fantastic stuff just starts happening, like your GPS starts talking to you like an actual person, you see these random doors that lead you into the past, and you start having conversations with different people in the past. They respond to it so casually, and they do question it a couple times, but they're like, this is kind of weird. Oh well, and they just roll on, and they don't act like normal people. And that threw me off. Now, but that's like a nitpick. That wouldn't bother me so much if the romance worked. But in this movie, when one character says to the other character, "I love you," I was sat there thinking to myself, do you though? Do you really? Because the last thing you want in a movie that's about romance is for you to say, like we do for every, Disney movie, especially the older ones, how on earth could you be in love? You just met, right? That was such a cliche that they even do that whole thing in Frozen, right? Where Elsa tells Anna, "You can't marry a man you just met," that sort of thing. That's kind of what this movie feels like. Where when one character confesses their love to the other character, I'm sitting there like, oh, let's hold our horses here, okay? How long has this been? What? Like, you gotta be crazy right now. I did not feel that in Materialists or About Time or any other great, romances. The Princess Bride, As You Wish, right? You feel it. This movie, not so much. And because of that, because I'm not feeling the romance, I'm seeing a lot of other weird things in the movie, like how the fantasy element isn't really working. They're not really responding to it like normal people. Even their conversations, while some of them are interesting and I was actually engaged with the debate, it was very isolated. It didn't really connect to the whole movie. And I felt like throughout the majority of the movie, these two people didn't really respond like regular people to not only to the fanciful situations, but just to each other. So yeah. I was quite excited for this movie. The trailers were really interesting, but unfortunately, it's kind of a dud for me. There's definitely stuff to like, and I do think some people will like it more than me, but I wasn't feeling it. I didn't really like it. So I would only recommend this if you are a romance movie fan and you want to see what it's like. And it's interesting and you like the leads and the trailer is intriguing and you just like watching romance. I would just warn you that it's not gonna be a classic. I could be wrong, maybe you'll love it, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Anybody else, I don't really recommend this movie, unfortunately. Even though it's got great talent behind the camera and in front of the camera, it just doesn't work. So those are my thoughts on A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey.